Viki, you look marvelous.
Thank you very much, Colin. How's your family?
Just fine.
Good.
Please, have a seat.
Thank you.
Although I was premature in saying we'd be ready for you by 4 o'clock, I'm sorry, but we're having a problem with the computer. It's going to be another hour before the paperwork is ready for the annulment procedure.
Well, I've waited 25 years. I suppose another hour won't matter. Roger's not here yet anyway.
Viki, you do understand that legally this is nothing more than a formality?
Yes, I do know that, but it is necessary nonetheless.
Well, if you'll make yourself comfortable, I have another meeting, and after which I hope I'll be back with the papers ready for you to sign. Yes. Send him in. It's Roger. Please, come in. I'm Vicky's attorney, Colin Wiley.
Hello, Roger Gordon. Victoria.
Hello, Roger. The papers aren't going to be ready for a while, so we have to kill some time.
Well, it's just as well because I've been having a lot of second thoughts about this demeaning ritual.
Never seen a sweeter baby in your life.
Yeah. When I was born.
There you go.
Sure. Well, he's healthy, and I tell you this, his heart murmuring, I couldn't even notice. It doesn't mean it's gone for good.
Well, the only one who has a heart murmur is me. Do you know how grateful I am to have you in my arms? Nobody's gonna take you away from me. It's crying and all, you're mine, baby. You are mine.
Yes, he is. And he's right here where he belongs. Right here with you, honey.
Oh. There he is.
Maybe you should just let him brood alone. You're not exactly his favorite person.
No. As much as Michael hates me, I'm still the closest person to him. Michael.
The hell do you want?
I'm worried about you.
Please. I mean, I've heard a lot of hypocritical lines in my life, but that is a beauty. Besides, there's nothing to worry about. See, I have this picture here of my son to remember him by. And I also have a picture of my wife to remember her by. So you see, I don't need anybody's sympathy, especially yours.
Come on, Gabrielle. This is obviously no time for a chat.
Gabrielle Medina, we have a warrant for your arrest. You're under arrest for the violation of the terms of your bail. Michael Grant, you'll be detained for questioning.
Here's what to do when you don't find the rainbows in this time. Here's where you go when it looks like the rain won't end. Don't cry. I'll give you tomorrow. Let me be the one to share it with. And each day that follows, 'cause we only have one life to live.
Well, Rafe, I am just tickled to see you. I think this woman belongs in jail. Am I right?
She does now. And if I work at it, I'll bet I can find a way to throw your butt in jail too, Max.
For what?
Abetting a criminal, for starters.
Oh. You want to tell me how you figured out where we were?
We tracked you down through your airline reservations.
Oh.
And Michael, we came up with the fact that you owned this theme park. Before we could act on it, Sheriff Connors called me.
We got an SOS from the McGillis family.
McGillis family? McGillis family? Do I know? Oh, the McGillis family. Aren't they the ones with that adorable little child? Is that right? well, how could I forget? Yeah, Rafe, I have to tell you that you haven't been around, but this has all been cleared up. Everything's harmonious again, thanks to the archangel Gabrielle. And for the part that she played in this searing melodrama, I think that she should win the life imprisonment award, don't you? Oh, by the way, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
You might want a lawyer, Michael. We still have an attempted murder charge against you.
No, Rafe, I told you. Michael did not strangle me. It was a prowler.
Sheriff, if you'll take Mr. Grant upstairs for questioning, please.
I sure will, Captain Garrettson. Let's go.
Rafe, I'm not about to change my story. Whatever Michael says to you, that is exactly what happened.
Right, and we all know how often you tell the truth, Gabrielle, don't we?
Rafe, look. If it weren't for Gabrielle, Mike would be still hiding with the kid. She's the one that convinced him to give Stephen up.
Shut up, Max, and let me deal with this, okay?
I was just explaining to Viki that this is just a formality.
Yes, I know, but loaded with symbolism.
Well, I've got to get to my meeting. I'll be back shortly with the annulment papers.
Thank you. I don't know what else to say to you. I know you're hurt and I know you're angry and I'm terribly sorry because it is my fault. I should have told Clint about our marriage the minute I found out, and because I didn't, I now have to prove to him that it was not meant as any kind of a betrayal.
Well, you know, Viki, I hate to admit this to you, but I can sort of understand his position, too, all right? I mean, if I were in his shoes... But from where I stand, I can't help it, Victoria. This annulment is a betrayal. To me, to ourselves, to Megan. And I don't mean to put you in the middle between Clint and me now, or between your past and your present.
It does feel sort of like that, though, doesn't it?
But you see, I feel as if I'm caught up in a conspiracy begun 25 years ago. Clint, without knowing it, of course, is carrying on in the tradition of Danton Gordon and Victor Lord. Powerful men who tried to wipe out any trace of our relationship.
But they didn't succeed. You and I got married in spite of them. We had a child in spite of them. And now, after all these years, we've managed to find each other in spite of them. I mean, when you look at it that way, we have triumphed over our fathers.
Yes, well, it's that knowledge that's kept me going ever since... Well, since the day Turner exploded.
Why is this so difficult for you now, then?
I guess I'm experiencing this demand from Clint as a final insult, one I can hardly bear.
You know, given everything that you have had to put up with, this is very little.
Well, you've heard of the proverbial last straw.
There's something else, isn't there? There's something that's fueling your anger about this issue, right?
Not really. I don't know.
Roger, we've always been able to talk to each other. What is it?
Maybe I'm disappointed in you, Victoria. I guess I expected you to stand up against this man who wants to wipe out our past. Is that so unreasonable of me? Am I asking too much? Expecting too much of you to stand up and fight for the last real bond we have?
Oh, Roger.
That sounds like pity. My God. Am I totally out of touch with reality? Are you just speaking polite?
I don't understand.
Well, maybe this annulment doesn't mean anything to you, but because I'm making such a big deal out of it, you're willing to listen.
No, the symbolism of all of this hurts me very deeply. I mean, I fought with Clint about it. But at the same time, Roger, I do understand his feelings, and because I understand them, I cannot ignore them and hope for my marriage to go on. This is a very loaded issue for Clint, and I have to do this for him.
Oh, my God, I wish.
What do you wish?
The impossible, Victoria. I wish my opinion mattered more than his. I wish our brief marriage meant so much to you that you...
You know something? I do think that you and Clint are really making much too much out of this, both of you. He's protecting the future and you're protecting the past, and none of that has anything to do with the present. Does that little piece of paper have to cause this kind of turmoil?
Well, maybe I am living in some kind of dream or fantasy. I mean, we were robbed of everything but a daughter. We didn't get the adventure of marriage, of loving and laughing and fighting and making up and growing together. We had the feelings, we had the ceremony. Then it was taken away from us.
Yes, it was. And I will regret that as long as I live.
But now you're going to annul those feelings as well. You're saying they weren't worth the piece of paper they were written on.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yes, you are, whether you know it or not. Clint sure as hell knows it. That's why he's demanding it. Other than Megan, it's our only real tie, and now 25 years later, you're going to break that tie.
God, Roger, you talk as if our marriage came with some sort of a guarantee that it was going to last forever. I mean, how do you know that we would have made it through the first year?
Oh, I do.
How? How do you know that? We were both so young and so naive. My father kept me totally isolated. You lived in a completely closed-off world. We couldn't even deal with our fathers. How on earth were we going to deal with the pains and the problems and all the difficulties of living?
Well, we would have. I know that as well as I know anything. We were meant to be together. That's why you found me that morning on the mountain. We were fated, and how dare you suggest otherwise? You must think I'm really losing it.
No, not at all. I am so touched by the depth of your belief in those two silly kids who thought they could overcome everything and everyone.
Yes, we were kind of dumb, weren't we? But very bold and courageous. And determined. I can remember it as if it were this morning. Holding your hand in the meadow. Reverend Harper leading us through our vows.
Yes. Roger.
Yes.
I lied to you. I know that we would have made it as husband and wife if only you'd been given the chance. I only said that because this is a wrong that can't be righted. But I do think you're holding on to the past too tightly. It hurts you too much.
I can't help it, Victoria. Because I still do have breath enough to say, I love you. Just as I vowed 25 years ago. I loved you then. I love you now. I will love you until my dying day.
Look, Megan, I told you, Max has not called back yet. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Look, I would know if he called back, wouldn't I? Yes, but are you sure you're being honest with me? Megan, why would I lie to you?
Kelly, girls, I'm sorry. Excuse me a
you.
moment. I need to talk to you for a second. Sorry.
This better be important because if I don't find Max in about 2 seconds, I'm going to go crazy. Now, what is it?
You know, I thought this was going to be hard, but you're making it real easy. Before I go into this, I just want to tell you that all I ever wanted for you, all I ever wanted to do, period, was to do the right thing.
Marco, what have you done?
I'm not trying to defend her now, Rafe. Damn it. I'm the one that got her to confess, remember? I saw her with Michael. She convinced him to face the facts. She didn't have to do that. She could have let it alone.
Yeah, she should have let it alone, and so should you.
Can you at least let her go back to Llanview under her own recognizance?
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Oh.
Look, I don't care what happens to me, but I do care that you don't press charges against Michael. He hasn't done anything. He is hurting more than anyone else.
It's amazing how the man never has to pay for anything. After Eterna and terrorizing Viki, no one presses charges. He strangles you. No charges.
About charges, I'm sure if you talk to Brenda, you're going to realize she wants to go very light on Gabrielle.
Max, I told you to stay out of this. The court will decide Gabrielle's punishment. For the life of me, I can't understand how you can stick up for Gabrielle like this, unless, of course, you have Some unlimited source of income I know nothing about.
What are you talking about?
You forfeited your bar when she jumped bail.
What? You put the bar up as collateral?
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did, but, what the hey? Easy come, easy go.
Why didn't you tell me?
Why should I? Would it have stopped you from going after Michael?
I don't know. That was Al's security, too.
Look, I'm gonna go join the sheriff in questioning Michael. His deputies are right outside in case you two get any ideas of going someplace.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Max, that was your home. That was Al's home. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna live?
I don't know. We're not gonna end up in the streets, so don't worry about it. I'm not. Come on, life has a way of providing answers when you don't work too hard at finding them.
Yeah, I wish I could believe that.
I hope you are distraught over being arrested and not over my bar.
I don't give a damn what happens to me. But I do love my son. Look, you have made such a sacrifice for me. You trusted in me, and I did the wrong thing while I was thinking I was doing the right thing.
It was right. Brenda has Stephen. Michael gave him up willingly. No one got hurt, even Michael. Now, in my book, that counts as a happy ending. I'd risk 20 bars for that. And I think that deserves at least a smile from you.
Plane gets in around 8 o'clock? That's fine. Thanks a lot. Okay. All right, no problem getting back to Llanview tonight.
Yeah, I sure wish that reservation was for 4 instead of 3.
Tyler, that's something you're going to have to work out with your dad.
Yeah, but how am I going to convince him to let me give up that scholarship for at least a year?
I'm not the guy to ask on that. I'll tell you this, if I were your father, I'd feel the same way. That doesn't mean that you're not welcome to visit us in Llanview if he changes his mind.
I think Pa's been out of school for so many years, he can't remember what a waste of time it is to be there if you don't want to be. I mean, shoot, my brains are going to desert me if I take off a year from school. In fact, I'll probably just rest up. And anyway, I don't even know what I want to major in.
Oh, boy.
I'll probably just use the scholarship for the frat parties. Shouldn't I just get the travel bug out of my system, then get serious again?
Yeah, but see, I know you too well, boy. When you were only 2 years old, you'd be tugging at my hand trying to get loose. Once you see what's on the other side of the country or of the world, you're not going to be heading back to Phoenix.
Maybe that's the problem, Pa.
You think I'm never going to come home again?
And if that's it, Pa, maybe you ought to take a look at yourself instead of hassling me all the time. Well, Larry, it's real nice meeting you. Maybe you ought to convince him into letting me move before I give him a coronary or something.
Ty, you know, maybe you ought to let up a little bit.
I can't. I take after you.
Oh, in that case, he lost, Howard. Sorry.
No. Tyler's not near as stubborn as Brenda. He's not going to wear me down on this one.
No, bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Tyler, why don't you...
Now, what is that look? Now, Brenda, don't you start in on me about that boy.
Roger, you promised me you would never say that again.
That promise was made before somebody decided to take a giant rubber stamp and proclaim us null and void. Canceled. Eradicated. Well, forget it. My love is not gone, and neither is our story. A story that began years before Clint Buchanan ever heard of you. I'm like a little kid standing across the street from another little kid, shouting back at him, I loved her first! I loved her first! Well, you know what? I don't care. He's pushed me too far.
This isn't helping either one of us, you know.
I've done all the honorable things, and what's it gotten me? Nothing but polite contempt from your husband. Because no matter what I say or you do, he can't be convinced of anything other than what he sees for himself. My deep and unending love and passion for you. And occasionally, he looks into your eyes and sees what terrifies him the most. Your love for me.
Roger.
Can you say I'm wrong, Victoria? Can you say you don't love me?